In the last episode of the shop build, we got started on the site prep and gravel work to lay the foundation for my dream shop. Today, the guys are coming back out to finish the prep, set poles, frame the building, and pour concrete.
All right, well, some more progress has been made on the shop. They came out here the other day and they installed all these brackets on these trusses. So all the trusses are ready to go. And also, yesterday the permit got approved, so they headed out here. They brought their skid steer and this huge auger hole driller attachment thing. We'll just call it a large drill. And they started drilling all these holes into the shop area here. And I think these are going to be for the posts. So today they told me they need water out here, and then they'll be out here shortly to do whatever they're going to do to start making some more progress in the shop. The inspector came out here earlier and was checking the property setback and the depth of the holes and all that stuff, and everything got approved. We're all looking good. He looked over the permit and the plans and all that stuff, and we were given the okay to move forward with the rest of the project. So Steve, the guy building the shop, and his crew came out here earlier today, and they started setting all the posts and getting the frame, started. And now I know why we needed water. They needed water to mix concrete for the holes. So let me flip you around and show you what the shop looks like now. So as you guys can see, they got all the poles set today. The reason why they needed water out here is because they were setting some concrete for the poles, the holes that the poles are sitting in. So basically they build this little concrete footing, looks like a little cookie, that goes at the bottom of that hole. This post sits on it, and then they fill it in with backfill and everything else in the concrete once they get it all level. So they're out here using levels on the side of the poles to make sure that they're straight up and down, left and right. And then they had strings and everything to set the actual footprint of the shop. If you can't tell, I don't work in construction, but basically they were doing all they could to get this thing situated on the property where it needs to go. So those poles are in the ground with concrete and they're not going anywhere, but also when the foundation is poured, it'll wrap around those poles as well. So we'll really have a solid foundation, slab, and frame for this shop here. Now the way that this building will be laid out is we'll have the front door right here. So if you could imagine, we open the front door, we come into the shop, and then we're gonna have one bay here, one bay here, and one bay over there. So we should be able to have a lot of working space in this area. That's the goal, at least. I also want to put a sink in this area over here, and the lift will be in the middle bay right here. And then this area might have some storage. Haven't decided yet, but yeah, it's all coming together. So the next steps, of course, are to get the rest of the frame put together, and they're ordering the metal siding and trim pieces today. That'll be the whole outside exterior of the building is what the siding is, and then the trim will of course be the corners and all the little areas where trim would go. And then we're gonna get a roof on it, of course, too. So we have to get the whole rest of the frame done, the trusses set up, all that stuff. The tops of these poles have to be cut in order to get them all exactly at 14 feet. They're kind of uneven right now, and then they'll just start framing it up, and he said it should start moving pretty quick.
All right, well, it is the next day, and as you can see, these guys are currently mounting the trusses to the poles. And the more I watch these guys work, the happier I am that I didn't take on this job myself, because I actually was considering it. I was shopping around for quotes for quite a while before ultimately going with Steve and his crew, and it was just super frustrating. I was getting these really high quotes, like out of this world quotes, to the point where I had considered renting equipment and just doing it myself and then contracting out things that I couldn't do. But seeing what goes into this now, I'm really glad it's completely out of my hands and being handled by somebody else. I just didn't have time, or I mean, to be totally honest, I probably don't have the expertise. I know I don't have the expertise to take on this job.
You guys see that building behind me? When they said this was gonna start moving pretty quick, apparently they weren't kidding. It's only been 2 days since that last time-lapse footage, and I'm looking at essentially a fully framed building right here. These guys have been out here from basically 8 to 5 every day this week, just working their tails off on this shop, and it's ready to go. We're getting concrete tomorrow, so you see they leveled everything out in there. They clearly got the whole frame done. They installed the poles. They got all the girts and the trusses and the purlins. It's all in place. It's all ready to go. We're gonna have one 12 by 12 garage door here, one 12 by 12 garage door here, and one 12 by 10 garage door there. So we're gonna have 3 bays. Front door is gonna go over there, and you can see over here, this is where the lift is gonna go. So they've kind of made some holes over here, which is where the concrete's gonna be a little bit deeper. So I think we're gonna be 4-inch thick on most of this shop. In that area, it's looking like we'll probably be, I would say, I can't really tell from here, maybe 6 to 8, but should definitely be strong enough for what I'm using it for. Now, you can see the scale, maybe if we step back, these are 14-foot high walls, and then of course the actual tip of the eave or whatever its name is taller. But yeah, it's looking really, really good. These guys are doing a fantastic job out here. I also decided last minute I kind of want to rough in some plumbing, so I did that last night. I was out here till like 11 p.m. and this is just for a sink. So we have a feed and a drain. Because this is just a sleeve for PEX to go through. That one will be the drain, or vice versa, doesn't matter. But since the front door is here, I thought maybe if you walk in and you have a sink, this is probably the best spot for it to keep it out of the way from the whole rest of the shop. So tomorrow they're gonna come back out here, probably bright and early like they have been doing all week. Again, hats off to this whole crew for really putting in the time and effort on this shop. I really appreciate it. And as you guys saw, it's all prepped for concrete. So tomorrow they're gonna come out here and they're gonna set the concrete. That's gonna dry over the weekend, and then next week we'll probably get started on the siding and insulation. Well, it's the next day, and as you can see, we have concrete. These guys got here just before 6 in the morning. They started on some site prep before they got started on pouring this concrete. And after that, they just got right to it, and they just left. It's about 3 p.m. They just got out of here, so they've been working all day. They did an excellent job. I think this concrete looks great. One of the things I had them do was change the area where the concrete would be thickened for that lift. So originally, so this is the middle bay right here. Originally, it was gonna be basically centered with this pole right here. So this pole was gonna be the line where the lift would be, or the area would be dug out for the lift, and it would align with that pole there, basically give me like a crosshair in that area where I could mount the posts on that lift. But after I came out here yesterday and I looked where those holes were dug, they were a little bit forward, like right here. So it was only about like 9 feet from that pole to the center where the lift would be. And if I mounted it there and I put up a big truck or anything that is bigger than a small car, I wouldn't have a lot of room in front of the vehicle here. So I actually had them dig it out, starting from that pole. The hole begins at 9 feet off that pole and goes all the way to 17 feet. So I have thickened 10-inch concrete in this whole area. I could mount the lift anywhere in this area right here. So I have a lot more room to work with now. But yeah, it looks like they're making a lot of progress to me. I'm happy with it. Obviously, as I said, we still need to get the siding on and the insulation and the doors and everything to finish this thing up. But I mean, it's almost there. I think that's gonna wrap it up for this episode. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one, where this thing will hopefully be done. Later. This is a newcomer to the channel. His name is Hurley, and he is a Border Collie mix, and he has a lot of energy. Say hi to the people, man. Say hi. Oh, he's a little bit too energetic. You guys will be seeing him on the channel.